To talk about the two different forms that perception takes, we need to talk about containers in the mind and something that happened in the human mind many, many years ago. It turns out that the ultimate container for knowledge is love. If you were at a party and someone said, hey, I want to give you a scoop of ice cream, you can take it home. You said, I have nothing to put it in. What do we put the truth in? What is the container for that knowledge?
Take land animals and animals of the sky as an example. They possess all knowledge relevant to what they love. What they love is to feed themselves, keep themselves safe, reproduce, and raise their young, so they have all the information they need. The information is embedded in those different kinds of love and flows into those loves as containers designed just for it. In some animals, the knowledge is so astounding that it can only leave a human speechless. It is said to be inborn and is called instinct, but it belongs to the love the animals have. If our own proper love for God and our neighbor, the peculiarly human love that distinguishes us from animals, were active in us, we would have all necessary knowledge. Not only that, we would also possess all understanding and wisdom, without any need to learn them. They would flow down from heaven, or rather, from the deity through heaven, into our love for God and for our neighbor.
So Swedenborg says this astounding thing that originally the human race had a different kind of mind in the sense that the will and the intellect was united, and people had this love of God and love of the neighbor that gave them this heavenly mindset. And one of the byproducts of this mindset was this amazing perception, so that whenever they encountered something, they could see, is it true or false? Is it good or evil? They could tell that right away because of this divine inflow that was flowing into their love of God and love of the neighbor, which was a container for this knowledge, this perception, this ability to recognize what was right in front of them. And this is what was originally designed to be the proper human instinct, the ability to tell what is good and true. Over time, though, this got corrupted. What happened was that our vessel flipped upside down. We got much more interested in self-centeredness and materialism, and because we weren't receiving that divine inflow in the same way, that clouded our view of what is true and good. It obscured this perception, and that inner light was extinguished. So, all was not lost, we just needed a different way to get there. It's a little complicated, but let me try to walk you through it. So you read something, or you have some mentor or some teacher, or somebody tells you some spiritual concept, that goes into your intellect. It's not talking about the will yet. Into your intellect, you learn and think. And that goes into your conscience when you want to live by it. You take from your intellect principles to live by. The divine can then flow into that and build inside our will some sense of neighborly love that starts to replace our selfishness and gives us a clearer insight bit by bit. Over time, as this flow is happening, it starts to push back that self-centeredness and materialism that was in us so that we get clearer and clearer insight over time. It's a less direct route, but it still works. Interestingly, this gives us two options. Our distant ancestors only had one option, but we actually have two. We can operate from conscience, or we can operate from perception. There are two different modes of doing this. And the spiritual angels operate from conscience. This is how it works. Divine Love and Wisdom 427. People who are moved by spiritual love have wisdom written on their memory. So they talk about divine truths and do them on the basis of the principles they hold in their memory. But celestial angels work in a different way, where they're directed by perception like the most ancients, because they've gone even farther through this process. And it's possible for us to reach that same point. When you get to that point, then when you hear information or see a situation, you instinctively know what is true and good. You know who's lying. You know what you ought to do. And that's because those type of people and angels are all about taking action. Here's Divine Love and Wisdom 427 again. People who are moved by heavenly love have wisdom written not on their memory, but on their lives. This is because they do not talk about divine truths. It's not a debate society. They simply do them. And that action comes directly from love, as we read in Heaven and Hell 271. Angels of the third heaven are centered in love for the Lord, and that love opens the deeper levels of their mind to the third level and is open to and retentive of all wisdom.